Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the channel where today I will be doing my match week 14 Premier League predictions. Fixtures are coming thick and fast now. This is obviously the last games in November, and going to be very, very interesting, it has to be said. Actually, no, it's not the last games in November, but obviously there are games next week on the 1st of December as well. So fixtures are coming thick and fast. We obviously have some fixtures midweek as well, and going to be very, very interesting indeed. So yeah, fixtures are coming thick and fast. Obviously we've got fixtures this weekend, we have fixtures midweek, and we have fixtures again the next again week, and then obviously more fixtures after that. So the festive period is coming up, and this is the busiest time of the season for sure. It's December. Now let's have a quick look at how I did last week. Now, who gets 5 perfect scores in a week? I tell you something, not many people, but I managed to do it. I managed to get 5 perfect scores in this week. So be very, very interesting to see how we do this week. So West Ham Tottenham, I went for a 1-1 draw that finished 3-2 to Tottenham. Bournemouth Wolves, I went for a 2-1 win to Wolves. That was 2-1 to Wolves. First perfect score. Arsenal Southampton, went for a 2-1 win to Arsenal, finished 2-2. So very, very close to that one as well. Brighton Leicester, went for a 2-0 win to Leicester, finished 2-0 to Leicester. Another perfect score. Crystal Palace Liverpool, went for a 2-1 win to Liverpool, finished 2-1 to Liverpool. Everton against Norwich, went for a 2-0 win to Everton. Other way around, 2-0 to Norwich City. Watford Burnley, went for a 0-0 draw, 3-0 to Burnley. Not good. Manchester City against Chelsea, went for a 2-1 win to City, finished 2-1 to City. Next perfect score. Sheffield United Manchester United, went for a 1-0 win to Manchester United. It finished 3-3 between those two. Very, very good game of football, and we'll come into that one. Aston Villa Newcastle, went for a 2-0 win to Villa. It was 2-0 to Villa. So 5 perfect scores. That doesn't happen very often, so hopefully I'll do well this week. So the games we have are as follows. Live on BT Sport, Newcastle United against Manchester City. Live on Sky Sports for the Saturday night game is Southampton against Watford. That is a huge game in basically like relegation and obviously survival for that one. So that's going to be a big, big game. Then the Sunday games, Norwich City against Arsenal and Leicester City against Everton. Now, will Marco Silva be in charge for Everton against Leicester? There's been a lot of conflicting rumours suggesting that he will not take charge and he will probably be sacked before that game. Will Unai Emery be in charge against Norwich City for Arsenal? That's another one. And will Manuel Pellegrini also be in charge for West Ham against Chelsea? These are questions that need to be asked and answered. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. So the first game of the weekend is Newcastle United against Manchester City. Now, the last 5 between these two have resulted in 1 win to Newcastle, 1 draw and 3 wins to Manchester City, and the last meeting was a 2-1 win to Newcastle United. Newcastle United were very poor against Villa, really, really poor. Almiron still hasn't scored for Newcastle. Joe Linton looked a shadow of his player that he was at Hoffenheim. And, Dubravka really kept them in it in that game. And, if it hadn't been for him, he would have been... it would have been a very, very comfortable victory for Villa. Already it was a comfortable victory, but it would have been a lot more. The scoreline doesn't suggest that. So, obviously Newcastle United coming back in front of their home fans, and they'll definitely want a reaction for sure, but they're not scoring many goals, and this is the problem with Newcastle, is that they are relying on their defenders to score goals, not their attackers. So that is a big, big concern, you have to say. Manchester City obviously coming off the back of a 2-1 win against Chelsea, and obviously it would have been 3-1 had Raheem Sterling goal been decided was had that been given, then it would have been 3-1 to Man City. But VAR getting in the way again. It's another ridiculous decision. I mean, VAR. We've had some ridiculous decisions already this season. The Firmino armpit, and then obviously Sterling against West Ham, Sterling against Chelsea, Lundstram against Tottenham. It's just getting ridiculous, and then Son against Leicester as well. So big decisions are not going Man City's way for VAR is concerned. So there's another one. So obviously this game, I cannot really see anything other than Man City win. Obviously they are without Sergio Aguero now, which is a big blow. So Gabriel Jesus will definitely have to step up. They'll also be boosted by the return of Bernardo Silva, who was suspended against Chelsea for his racist tweet that gave him a one-match ban. I mean, I'm not going to get into that much for that one. So, going to be a very intriguing game here, but for me, Man City will be too strong for Newcastle. Sergio Aguero loves a goal against Newcastle, but obviously he's not playing this weekend. So, I'm going to go for a very comfortable away win here for Man City, and they definitely need to win this one for sure. So I'm going for Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 2. Be a very close game, that one. But I just think Man City will come through very easily in the end. 2-0 to the Citizens, and that is live on BT Sport Saturday lunchtime. So that should be a very good game indeed. Burnley against Crystal Palace now, and the last 5 between these two have resulted in 2 wins to Burnley and 3 wins to Crystal Palace, and the last game was a 3-1 win to Crystal Palace. How do we say? Burnley, fantastic away win against Watford, 3-0, so that's back-to-back 3-0 wins now against West Ham and Watford. Although Watford did make it pretty easy for them, it has to be said, but Burnley were absolutely outstanding, and 3-0 away from home is a very good result. So the Irvers are coming in back at the front of the home fans, and they'll be expectant for a third win in a row. That would be very good for them for sure. Crystal Palace obviously coming off the back of a 2-1 defeat to Liverpool, and they played really well in that game. Very unlucky not to get something out of the game, and had that been another day, then they would probably have got something, but it wasn't to be for them. But coming in back to this game, there's not been a draw between these two in the last 6 meetings, so I can't really separate them. Burnley are on good form. Crystal Palace have lost 4 of the last 5. But if you think about the teams that Crystal Palace have faced, they faced Liverpool, they faced Chelsea, they faced Manchester City, they faced Arsenal where they drew 2-2. And they've had some really tough games, and they faced Leicester, of course. So it's been a really tough run for Crystal Palace. So they'll be relieved to get that run out of them. But for this game, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Burnley and Crystal Palace. I don't think it's going to be a very easy game, but I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Burnley and Crystal Palace. Chelsea against struggling West Ham now. And the last 5 between these two have resulted in 2 wins to Chelsea, 2 draws and 1 win to West Ham. And the last meeting was a 2-0 win to Chelsea. Chelsea, very unfortunate not to pick up any points from the Etihad. They were really good for most of that game. Also, the second half was a wee bit dull. But Chelsea had their chances, and on another day they would have definitely grabbed something from the game against City. So, but Chelsea are playing really well. Obviously, that's the second defeat against in Manchester, but Chelsea are going really well, and they're starting to really impress, and they were unlucky to lose against Man City. West Ham, has to be said, they're struggling, really poor. Haven't won since they beat Manchester United on the 22nd of September. That just says a lot for West Ham. And obviously in that period, they have been beaten 4-0 by Oxford United as well. It's just not going very well for West Ham. I'm surprised Pellegrini is still at the club, but like I said in previous weeks, Pellegrini is still at the club, and these owners are not. They're too afraid to pull the trigger if you want to put it that way, on West Ham. And unfortunately, I just don't see Pellegrini. I don't see Pellegrini lasting very long, in all honesty. So, for me, this is a comfortable win for Chelsea. I just cannot see anything other than a Chelsea win here. And West Ham are really, really struggling. And I think Chelsea will win again. And I've gone for 2-0 to Chelsea. But then again, that could easily be another 2-3-0 again. Because obviously West Ham did get back into the game against Spurs. But, you know, Spurs at that point were 3-0 up. And obviously 3-1. And then obviously, you know, 3-2. But by 3-2, you know, the game was over. So West Ham, for me, definitely struggling. Don't see them getting any goals at Stamford Bridge and any points. I'm going for Chelsea 2, West Ham 0. Liverpool against Brighton now, and they've only met 4 times, and it's 4 wins to Liverpool. And the last meeting was a 1-0 win to Liverpool. And in fact, both meetings last season were 1-0 victories for Liverpool. Liverpool didn't play very well at Palace, but still grinding out results. And this is the thing about a good team. You're grinding out results when you're not playing well. It is a big, big incentive for sure. Liverpool will probably rest players, I would say, for this game, because obviously they have the Merseyside derby coming up, and then it's a trip to Bournemouth, which is another, you know, it's a tricky wee run of games coming up for Liverpool. And then obviously they've got Salzburg, and then Watford at Anfield, which I do believe is a 12:30 kickoff as well. So, yeah, some big games coming up for Liverpool. Brighton, obviously coming off the back of a 2-0 defeat to Leicester. You know, they had their chances. Could have had a penalty when Pereira brought down Connolly, and you know that could have been a penalty. And then maybe, you know, if they score that, then that's a different ball game. But Leicester City were absolutely flying, so they'll be pleased to get that one out of the way. Going to Anfield, though, Liverpool just absolutely unstoppable at Anfield, and I do expect Liverpool to win this one. I think Liverpool will go and play Brighton. Brighton will be looking forward to this run of fixtures coming to an end for sure. Leicester City, Liverpool, not sure where. I think they're at Arsenal midweek as well, so you know, big games getting them out of the way. So and then I think they've got a reasonable run of fixtures after that. So it'll be very, very close game for Brighton. But I think Liverpool's class will show in the end. I think Liverpool will get a massive clean sheet as well. That would be very, very good for them as well. I'm going for Liverpool 3, Brighton 0, and it should be a good game, that one. So yeah, I don't see Brighton getting anything out of Liverpool. So Liverpool 3, Brighton 0. Tottenham against Bournemouth now, and the last 5 between these sides have resulted in 4 wins to Tottenham and 1 win to Bournemouth. The last game was a 5-0 win to Tottenham, but obviously the last game between the sides, Bournemouth beat Tottenham at the Vitality Stadium. So very, very, very interesting. But obviously Tottenham under the stewardship of Jose Mourinho, and it was a very good win, very, very good performance in the first half. Second half, obviously they allowed West Ham to get back into it, but Mourinho will be a wee bit disappointed that they conceded 2. I don't think, had they conceded 1, yeah, and okay, you know, it's one of those things, but conceding 2, that is a bit of a concern. Bournemouth obviously coming off the back of a 2-1 defeat to Wolves, and you know, Wolves played really, really well that day, and Bournemouth, very, very disappointing performance, it has to be said. But Ramsdale keeps them in the game as well. And obviously, you know, Ryan Fraser, good goal from him as well. So it's a real shame, but it has to be said that Bournemouth are they're doing well. They're doing well, it has to be said. They're doing well for most teams where they would expect to be. And I don't think Bournemouth expected to be top 10 by this period in the season. So, going to be a very, very good game. But going to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I just feel that Spurs will be far too strong for Bournemouth. I'm going for Tottenham 3, Bournemouth 1. Now, a game that really, really stole the headlines last season was this one. This is a Saturday night game, Southampton against Watford. Now, the last 5 between these two have resulted in 1 win to Southampton, 3 draws and 1 win to Watford. big incentive for this one. And the last game was a 1-1 draw between these two. But if you remember this game, this was the game where Charlie Austin came out in that post-match interview and really went for the referee. It was, and then obviously we all know about the Park Life memes that came into that. Southampton 2-2 Arsenal. Very unlucky not to win in that game. Southampton were terrific at Arsenal, and they really caught Arsenal cold on that free kick. I mean, Danny Ings scores it, but it's brilliant play from James Ward-Prowse. Plays it to Danny Ings, and then he obviously scores past Leno. So it's going to be a very interesting game, and obviously they're coming in back in the front of their home fans. They do need a win. They do definitely need a win for the Southampton, because at this moment in time, obviously getting a draw at Arsenal is great, but it's this game that they will probably target to get points, and it's going to be an interesting game. Watford obviously coming off the back of a 3-0 defeat to Burnley, and that was not good at all. Going to be very interesting to see what will happen for that one. So Watford won their last away game. Southampton haven't won at home for a long time. I'm going to go for a Watford win. That might surprise a few people, but just have a feeling Watford are going to pull something out of the hat here, and I think Watford will win this one. I'm going for Southampton 1, Watford 2. But we'll see what happens. Southampton definitely need to win their home games for sure. Southampton 1, Watford 2. Norwich City against Arsenal now, and the last 5 between these two have resulted in 4 wins to Arsenal and 1 draw. And the last game was a 1-1 draw between Norwich and Arsenal. Norwich City, who saw that coming? 2-0 away to Everton. Fantastic away performance. Todd Cantwell getting the goal. And then obviously I cannot pronounce the name, Strepney. They got the second goal for Norwich. Fantastic away performance, and coming in front of their home fans against Carrow Road, and in front of the Sky cameras, they'll be expectant again, because obviously the last time they came in front of the Sky cameras, they beat Manchester City at Carrow Road. So can they do the same to Arsenal? Arsenal, oh dear. Where do you start? Defensively, all over the place. That first goal for Southampton at the weekend was ridiculous. I mean, David Luiz is ball watching to begin with, and Southampton are really quick, and they catch them off guard for sure. It was really poor defensively from the Gunners. Is Unai Emery going to still be at the club by this time? Who knows? There's a lot of rumours going around that he could be the next one to be sacked. There's obviously Marco Silva. He could be the next one to be sacked as well. Pellegrini. It's just ridiculous. And, Arsenal are really struggling at this moment in time. Because of that, because Norwich are in front of the Sky cameras, I'm going to say that Norwich will pick up another victory. I'm going for Norwich City to beat Arsenal by 2-1 in this game. So we'll see what happens. But for me, Norwich City are going to beat Arsenal by 2-1. Wolves against Sheffield United. Now, I had to really check these games. And obviously, this is the first ever meeting in the top flight between these two. So, it's going to be a very interesting game for this one. So, the last 5 I noticed in the Championship, and obviously sort of League One as well. Wolves have won 3, there's been 1 draw, and there's been 1 win to Sheffield United. And the last game, in fact, was a 3-0 win to Wolves at Molineux. Wolves, fantastic win away from home against Bournemouth. Very good. Very good that they were. Jimenez scoring for fun at the moment, isn't he? So, and obviously Jeremy Tino scoring as well. They're doing really good, and obviously they go to Braga midweek as well, so they'll be hoping to win that game, and then obviously they're all but through if they get a result in Portugal, so that'll be very good for them. Sheffield United, we probably saw the game of the season for sure. They were excellent against Manchester United. Really unlucky not to get all 3 points, but obviously, 2-0 up you would expect them to obviously go on and get a third, but Manchester United dug deep, and then obviously for the first 70 minutes, Manchester United were all over the place. They were really, really poor. And then obviously, to get 3 goals and to be 3-2 up was really surprising in that aspect. But, has to be said, Sheffield United got the equaliser. Is it handball? Well, you've seen that given. And then obviously there was a lot of comparisons between the Liverpool penalty from the Champions League final. A lot of comparisons to that. I mean, if you give that given against you, then you obviously if it's given for you, you're happy. But if it's given against you, you're really distraught and angry. So it was one of those ones that it can be balanced out throughout the season. So this is a very interesting game because Sheffield United have not lost away from home, and I'm thinking that Wolves will break that curse. I think Wolves will win this game. Wolves are in very, very good form at the moment, as are Sheffield United, of course, but I just think Wolves are going to win this one. Be a very narrow victory. I'm going for Wolves 2, Sheffield United 1. It'll be a very, very close game, that one. And we've got 2 games left, I should say. Leicester City against Everton. This is a 4:30 kick-off, this one. And the last 5 between the sides have resulted in 2 wins to Leicester, 3 wins to Everton. And the last game was a 2-1 win for Everton. But obviously the last game between Everton and Leicester won 1-0. Thanks to, guess who? Jamie Vardy. Leicester City, fantastic performance against Brighton. Jamie Vardy, again, he is just on fire right now. And defensively, they're absolutely sound at the back, are Leicester. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they do against an Everton team who are just in absolute dire form. Lots of rumours suggesting Marco Silva's the next one to go. He could well be. Rumours started yesterday that they are considering changing their manager before the Leicester game. So who that will be? There's been talk of David Moyes coming in. Who knows? Who knows who's going to come in for Everton? But will it improve their form? Who knows? Who knows indeed. But for me, this game, Leicester City are going to win this one. Fancy another 2-0 win for them. Everton are just in dire need of anything of a result. And I just think Leicester are going to continue their good form. Leicester 2, Everton 0. And the last game between further with this weekend is Manchester United against Aston Villa. And there's been 4 wins to Manchester United and 1 win to Aston Villa. One draw, I should say. And the last game was a 1-0 win to Manchester United. Manchester United, like I said in the when I was talking about the Sheffield United game, for the first 70 minutes, they were rubbish. Really, really poor. David De Gea kept them in the game. They could have been 4 or 5-0 down at half-time. Really, really poor from Manchester United point of view. So obviously they're coming back in the front of their home fans. They're obviously playing Astana on Thursday. They've taken a really young squad there, so they're through already. So definitely see some blend of youth in that game. Aston Villa coming off the back of a 2-0 win against Newcastle, and they were excellent, really, really good. A clean sheet for Aston Villa as well, very, very much needed as well. So, but you're going to Old Trafford, really, really tricky place to go. I think Manchester United, with Tottenham and Man City coming up in the next couple of weeks as well, I think they'll want to win this one. I think they will win. But I don't think they'll keep a clean sheet. They don't seem to keep many clean sheets at this moment in time. I'm going for Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 1. So that is it. That is my match week 14 Premier League predictions. I'll quickly go through my predictions very, very quickly. Again, Newcastle United 0, Man City 2, Burnley 1, Crystal Palace 1, Chelsea 2, West Ham 0, Liverpool 3, Brighton 0, Tottenham 3, Bournemouth 1, Southampton 1, Watford 2, Norwich City 2, Arsenal 1, Wolves 2, Sheffield United 1, Leicester City 2, Everton 0, and Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 1. So that is it. That is my match week 14 predictions. If you want to get your predictions, then get them in the comment section below. And if this is the first video you like and you like my content, then please hit that subscribe button, smash a like, leave a comment. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And like I said, there's lots of Premier League fixtures coming up over the next couple of weeks. yeah, stay tuned. And come on Liverpool, cannot have Brighton winning. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon for some more videos. And good luck to your teams. Anyway, take care everyone. Bye-bye.